We don't need to wait until a George Floyd situation happens before we act accordingly.
Daryl McGraw is the co-chair for the Connecticut Police Transparency and Accountability Task Force. And like its name, the task force was created to study policing and ways to improve here in Connecticut. Joined by state officials like the Attorney General, state legislatures, and the governor. The group met Monday in light of the response to the deadly arrest of George Floyd in Minnesota.
I've been doing this a while, and I haven't seen anything like this.
While a lot of the discussion focused on things like police training, use of force, de-escalation tactics, and laws.
We can pass laws, we can talk about mandates, but you can't just mandate and legislate behavior. It's up to us as chiefs to manage culture.
Milford Police Chief Keith Mello says when officers join departments, they're coming from all different walks of life. So reform has to go beyond just mandates and laws.
I also think that police officers who do come from suburban environments and haven't dealt with Black and brown people or in urban environments should spend 500 community hours in actually working with people in the community.
In the midst of protests, some have also called for defunding police departments.
To me, there's some merit to that. Not disbanding police departments, but we really should be directing some of these services, these professionals, to dealing with the homeless, to dealing with the mental health.
All say they can agree there is work to be done, from police culture, resources in the communities they serve, to laws and mandates put in place. And it won't happen without all stakeholders working together. Now, one of the goals for this meeting is to also establish the next meeting date so the task force can begin working on ways to implement those suggestions into action. For now, that date is set for June 22nd at 1 p.m. Aisha Bo, Fox 61 News.